Hey, it's Jonathan Kirshner, and in this video, I'm going to tell you one of the stories of how I did one of my first solo recruiting deals absolutely free. So this goes back a couple years. I actually started working with a company that was in Detroit, and their product was they made these construction hard hats and they put technology in it, and they said, hey, we need a Java developer. I just found this company on LinkedIn. I actually was messaging a bunch of hiring managers on LinkedIn, and then one of the directors forwarded me over to the HR person, and the HR person said, hey, yeah, we'll work with you. And they signed my fee agreement at 20%. And so they said, hey, we need a Java developer in Detroit, Michigan. And all they really told me about the job was we need this person to have at least 4 or 5 years experience writing code in Java. They also have to know Spring and Hibernate. Now, I didn't know what any of those things were at the time. But I took that and I said, okay, they need Java, they need Spring, and they need Hibernate. So what I did is I actually went to Indeed, the job board Indeed, and I searched Java developer roles, and I found job descriptions that fit what they were looking for. So I copied and pasted that. I removed any company names from that job description that I just kind of pulled randomly from Indeed. And what I did is I pasted it into a Word document, and I removed any company name, and then I put they needed in the requirements that you see like in a job description. I said you have to have Java, you have to have Spring, and you have to have Hibernate. And then what I did is I actually posted this back on Indeed, just the free job board. I created like a little employer account. I posted it to Indeed, and then I kind of forgot about it. And then I started getting candidates trickling in. So you start getting like these applications from candidates. And I wasn't getting that many because I honestly didn't have a lot of money at the time. And so they started trickling in, and I started getting like 4 or 5 candidates maybe a day for a couple days. And actually some of them were decent. I looked at their resumes and they had Java, Spring, and Hibernate. So I called them up. I was like, hey, I'm working with this company, and they're in Detroit, Michigan, and they're looking for a Java developer, and they need Java and Spring and Hibernate. Do you have those 3 things? And if they said yes, I was like, okay, great. Well, here's the salary that they can pay. Does that work for you? Can you commute to their office in Detroit? And once they checked those boxes, I was like, okay, great. So then I sent the resume over to that company in Detroit, and they said, hey, Jonathan, thanks for these. We'd like to interview these 2 candidates, these 2 job seekers, these 2 guys. They both were dudes actually. And so then what I did was I called the candidates and I set up an interview. Now this company is willing to pay $90,000 to $110,000 on their fee. And so on the salary, not on their fee. So on a $90,000 to $110,000 salary. So I had to make sure the candidates were within that range. They did a 30-minute phone screen with them, and they found one guy that they really liked. They brought him on a 2-hour on-site interview, and then after that, I called the client. I was like, hey, what'd you think? Did you like the guy? And they're like, yeah, sure. We think we want to make him a job offer. We're thinking like $95,000 a year. How does that work for him? And I was like, I don't know. Let me give him a call. So then I called that job seeker, and I was like, hey, dude, you killed it. They want to make you a job offer. And in my head, I'm also kind of like trying not to freak out because I knew I had 20% with them, $95K. That was like a $19,000 fee or something like that, right? What's 20% of $95,000, whatever that is. So I just went over some of the details with them. I was like, hey, does this work for you on this salary? I went over some of their benefit stuff. I asked him if all that sounded good, and then I asked him when he could start. I sent that back over to the client, and they sent me back a job offer letter. And then I just got back on the phone with the candidate. I was like, hey, here's what they're thinking of doing. Does this all work for you? Sound good? Can I get your verbal yes on this? And he was like, yeah, that sounds good. Let's do this. So I sent him the job offer. He signed it right away. And that is my story. So that ended up being a $19,000 fee. Wait a second. Let me make sure my math's right on this. Because now I'm like, okay, 95,000 times 0.2, $19,000. It's a $19,000 fee that I posted on Indeed from this client that was looking for a Java developer in Detroit, and it was completely free. I didn't spend a dime on this post. You can do the same thing. If you want to check out the free training beneath this video, I actually do a very thorough, in-depth walkthrough of how you can actually find clients and do these deals yourself. A lot of people have gotten their start in recruiting through this free training, but if you don't do that, if you don't do anything other than that, if you can like and subscribe to my channel, that'd be awesome. I'll see you soon. Thanks.